AI Profit Boardroom review. Today I'm joined with Karl Hudson and we're going to be going through the AI Profit Boardroom community, which is on School and is been founded by Julian Goldie, who's an absolute living legend.
When he's got a top on.
Yeah.
So there's often a lot on his face where he's got his top off and the cold plunges and things.
There's a lot of cold plunges. But he's an absolute grafter.
Yeah.
He's very advanced when it comes to the different LLMs. So with regards to the review, obviously we're sat here together and we're both going to be talking very positively about the community of what he's created, just because he's such a hard worker in the fact that the minute a new LLM model comes out, he's always seems to be the first person that's split tested it, that's showing examples, that's providing SOPs. Like, I think it's a brilliant community. I believe it's the best out there that there is. But what's your thoughts on the AI Profit Boardroom?
I would say, obviously, the great thing about all of these communities, obviously not just the AI Profit Boardroom, but the great thing about them is it's just a place where everyone's still learning. So, AI is very new. Everyone's still learning. And that often become a huge social discussion around, how to improve your prompting, how to get, basically how to get more out of AI for less. Because if you do better prompts, you actually spend less on it having to work out. It has to compute what you're trying to ask it. And if you can prompt it in the correct way, then it'll cost you less to get the result.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that Julian he's just a master at. He's been in from day one. He has SOPs everywhere. I think I was going through some of his best Claude SOPs, essentially on how to set up Claude and how to prompt it correctly. And again, I seen huge reductions in my costs of the credits, essentially, how much tokens I was using when it came to Claude. And that was just through improving my prompting. Obviously, I was also quite guilty at the very start of, when it very first came out was please and thank you, just because I try to be polite. And then you begin to realize, well, that's just cost us a few tokens there saying please and thank you. But yeah, Julian, he's spot on when it comes to that community. And again, it's cheap. Like, where can you go for, £49, I think, or $49 a month and get that level of input? And also, that $49, you will just make more money than that from learning what he has to offer within that group.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, what I found quite bizarre with regards to the AI Profit Boardroom was I've got all my members in. I've got all my team members in there. Like, I'm consistently wanting to improve and innovate when it comes to Claude and supercharge what they can do. And they're obsessed now with using Claude Code, Claude Cowork and stuff like that. But at first, I didn't realize just how good AI Profit Boardroom was. So I got one or two of the team members to say, look, go out and find a dedicated Claude community and group that you can learn from. And they went out and they joined 2 different groups. And there was literally came back a month later and was doing a SWOT analysis with the team. And I was like, so how are these Claude groups? Are they on another level? Like, are they unbelievable? And it was all like, yeah, we cancelled them. So I'm like, why? And they're like, AI Profit Boardroom is by far the best Claude community. I'm like, no. We want someone who's dedicated just to Claude. That's it. And there was like, yeah, like these sections within AI Profit Boardroom, which is just for Claude. And the people in that section only talk about Claude. The SOPs are only about Claude. And I'm like, but it can't be, because one of the other team members is saying it's the best for OpenClaw. And he had all the SOPs for OpenClaw. And they're like, literally, as they was working through all the different LLM models, there was like, AI Profit Boardroom is the best community for X. AI Boardroom is the best profit. And it was like, wowzers. And that's when I started to realize, I reached out to Julian, and I speak to him quite a lot.
This
and
is
I'm
when Dooley decided to log in to Profit Boardroom.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, now's the time. But the team have all, the reviews and the testimonials that's come back from them has just been like incredible. So what have you used it for? Like you mentioned there about Claude, you use Hermes.
Yeah.
So have you gone in there? Have you spoke with other people within the AI Profit Boardroom that has helped you with, or is there SOPs that's helped you develop and improve and done walkthroughs of Hermes specifically?
Yeah. So like the great thing that Julian's exemplary for is as soon as something new comes out, he's on it like the car bonnet, is what the phrase used to be in the Northeast. And he's straight hot on the topic. And Hermes was actually one of the ones that I wanted to set up for my team. And, going through the SOPs was actually quite easy. I'm quite technical, but, Linux knowledge and all that, setting up a server, it when you don't use it, you kind of lose it. And he just gives you like a straightforward step-by-step guide on how to implement and integrate Hermes into your processing workflow. And then all of a sudden it makes life so much easier, especially if you integrate like Telegram into that as well. And then all of a sudden you've got a Telegram bot that is running Hermes connected to whatever API you want. So I use the Codex. We use ChatGPT's Codex because it works out cheaper on tokens if you do it that way. And yeah, he then also has loads of ways of using OpenRouter. So obviously that's like a API which has connections to all of the APIs. So you're not restricted by the amount of tokens. But obviously it has higher levels of restrictions. So if you are a heavy user, it's often quite cheap. But he has all the SOPs on how to set that up and connect it to various different bots. It's just overall an absolute exceptional community. And again, it's growing and getting better. And for staff and hiring staff, it's like the number one place that you'd want to go.
Yeah. I think for me, the other massive one that I love about the AI community that's in there is that previously we've set up like NA10 and we used to think, NA10 is absolutely brilliant. And we're like, go and find the best NA10 community that there is. And we're setting things up and it's like a workflow and it's almost like an if this, then that, and like this connects to that. And then OpenClaw came out. And then we were like, oh my God, OpenClaw is so much better than NA10. But then what we could then do is within the community who people had tested both, it's like, what's better, NA10 or OpenClaw? And then next minute, Hermes came out, which was so much simpler to set up than OpenClaw. That then it was like, well, Hermes can do what OpenClaw and NA10 can do, and it's easier to set up.
Yeah.
But then there's certain people, I use NA10 for this still, or I use OpenClaw for that, and I set up Hermes for this. And it's like, you've got the people that's testing all the different strategies of what can be done. And like some people have the arguments, what's better, Codex or Claude?
Yeah.
And there's still debates on that. What's better, Nano, Banana, or Image 2.0 and ChatGPT? And again, he's got people in there debating, and you can see both sides and being like, I think Image 2.0 might suit me better for what I need it for. Or I think Claude Code could work better for what I need it for. And I love the fact that they're all advanced that's in there and testing and willing to share, because everyone else is willing to share their own feedback of, I believe this is better than that because I've done this. And I think that from a community base is brilliant. But you spoke about there with regards to members of staff, and you said it's a great place to look. We had this discussion last week internally in the team, and I would prefer now to hire someone that's got the know-how of knowing how to prompt AI, or at least know how to prompt AI or ask AI questions to try to get answers and get solutions to a problem, than someone that's leaving university that's got a marketing degree and they've not really fully embraced AI in a specific way. What's your thoughts on that with regards to, you've employed quite a lot of AI engineers now and people that are very advanced and set up very sophisticated artificial intelligence systems for you to scale out. Why is it important, you feel, to them to find him in groups like the AI Profit Boardroom to try to find certain members of staff that already understand the LLMs and what can be being done? So
it's the same way that I learned SEO. Was I didn't go to school. I did go to school, but I didn't go to like university to study marketing. I went on forums and knowledge boards, and that's where you kind of, at the time, because SEO wasn't really, there was no training guides on it and things. That is kind of what you did. It's kind of exactly how AIs came about now. So, you want to be getting in bed with, or, around the people who are actively seeking the knowledge of AI and wanting to improve almost and embrace it every single day. Because they're the type of people who are always going to be on the ball and always trying to redefine and relearn, and not be scared to say, oh, that's now a redundant process. This is better. that's the people that you want when it comes to AI, because it's forever improving. And, one time, not long ago, GPT was the top one. Now Claude seems to be the top one. No doubt soon it'll be Gemini again. It's just them, and each one has a sort of slightly different way of prompting. You'll get better results if you prompt differently. And that's what Julian's community is great at. It tells you the different ways in prompting and what works best in between the Gemini and Claude and all the different models, DeepSeek. Because I know he was one of the first to mention DeepSeek. He was, I think, when it was announced, he was about 10 minutes later, there was a video on it. I'm watching Julian, I'm like, bloody hell, I'm just going to have to install DeepSeek. And then Hermes, all of a sudden, it was the same principle. You want to be around the guys who are in the trenches. And there's no better community than the AI Profit Boardroom.
Yeah, for me, I think it's definitely the best AI community that's on school. I'd actually go as far as saying it's the best AI community there is in the world.
Yeah.
I loved you speaking to Julian. I think he's always 2 steps ahead of the game. Anyone who's watching this, if you're not part of the AI Profit Boardroom, check out the link in the description, but also reach out, because I'm trying to get Julian to create a VIP group. And I think the VIP group, it's only going to be open to maybe 100, 200, maybe maximum 300 members. It's going to be more open with regards to open projects of what's being done, so people can be seeing physically in the SERP live case studies of real money sites. But also then consistently they can go and post a question and within 24 hours get actual split tests being done. Because the amount of people I want my team to be in the VIP group that we're always wanting new ideas to test. Now, to test costs so much money. So this is why it's going to have to be pretty much like a VIP group, but then we're going to share the results from the test, and we can share it. And what might work in, let's say, the finance sector within the UK might not work in the gardening space in Miami, let's say. So we can test it in different geos, in different niches, what might be working for different LLMs, how you can do LLM seeding, what you can be using for online reputation management. There's so many different ways what it could be being used for. And for me, the AI Profit Boardroom at present is by far the best. I think people, if they're not in there for under £100 a month, they should be joining that and learning. And not only that, is networking with some of these people that are leveling up. And I think to level up with artificial intelligence is key. So what's your last part to say then? From a review, Julian Goldie yourself as well. Summarize it within 30 seconds of why someone should be joining AI.
If you like to see a guy who likes cold plunges and likes to sit with his top off and fiddle with a computer, then go to Julian Goldie.
No, but really seriously though, about the community, what would you say on the community?
No, honestly, exceptional throughout the knowledge and the SOPs that are shared throughout. And what I also like is he doesn't just leave the SOP there. If it will get improved. So you'll go back to it and revisit the SOPs, which is fundamental in all businesses. Every business should do that. And that is one that he does. He goes through, if there's an update, he will update the process. So you're paying just to be on top of the game, essentially.
Yeah. I think, like you said, it's key to level up. I think I give a 5-star testimonial and review for the AI Profit Boardroom. I think Julian Goldie is an absolute living legend. And I think it's the best AI community there is in the world, bar none.